Christ is risen. Christos anesti. Christos voskresce. El Mesías com. Ha Mashiach com. Christus resurrexit. Cristo ha resucitado. Christos enviat. Christi uniao. Aristotosu fukatsu. Kidu fuhola. Christo boahashane. 3 Kings. 1 Kings in Hebrew. Chapter 14, verse 21 through chapter 16, verse 34. And Rehoboam, son of Solomon, ruled over Judah. Rehoboam was 41 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 17 years in the city of Jerusalem, which the Lord chose to put his name there out of all the tribes of Israel. And his mother's name was Naamah the Ammonitess. And Rehoboam did evil in the sight of the Lord, and he provoked him in all the things which their fathers did in their sins which they sinned. And they built for themselves high places and pillars, and planted groves on every high hill and under every shady tree. And there was a conspiracy in the land, and they did according to all the abominations of the nations which the Lord removed from before the children of Israel. And it came to pass in the 5th year of the reign of Rehoboam, Susakim, king of Egypt, came up against Jerusalem, and took all the treasures of the house of the Lord, and the treasures of the king's house, and the golden spears which David took out of the hand of the sons of Adrezer, king of Suba, and brought them into Jerusalem, even all that he took, and the golden shields which Solomon had made, and carried them away into Egypt. And King Rehoboam made brazen shields instead of them, and the chiefs of the bodyguard, who kept in the gate of his house of the king, were placed in charge over them. And it came to pass, when the king went into the house of the Lord, that the bodyguard took them up, and fixed them in the chamber of the bodyguard. And the rest of the history of Rehoboam, and all that he did, behold, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? And there was war between Rehoboam and Jeroboam continually. And Rehoboam slept with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers, in the city of David. And Abiah his son reigned in his stead. And in the 18th year of the reign of Jeroboam son of Nebat, Abiah son of Jeroboam reigns over Judah. And he reigned 3 years over Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Maacah, daughter of Abisalom. And he walked in the sins of his father, which he wrought in his presence, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God, as was the heart of his father David. Howbeit for David's sake the Lord gave him a remnant, that he might establish his children after him, and might establish Jerusalem. For as much as David did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, he turned not from anything that he commanded him all the days of his life. And the rest of the history of Abiah, and all that he did, behold, are not these written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? And there was war between Abiah and Jeroboam. And Abiah slept with his fathers in the 24th year of Jeroboam, and he is buried with his fathers in the city of David, and Asa his son reigns in his stead. In the 24th year of Jeroboam king of Israel, Asa begins to reign over Judah, and he reigned 41 years in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Anna, daughter of Abisalom. And Asa did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, as David his father. And he removed the Sodomites out of the land, and abolished all the practices which his fathers had kept up. And he removed Anna his mother from being queen, forasmuch as she gathered a meeting in her grove. And Asa cut down her retreats, and burnt them with fire in the brook of Kedron. But he removed not the high places. Nevertheless, the heart of Asa was perfect with the Lord all his days, and he brought in the pillars of his father, and he even brought in his gold and silver pillars into the house of the Lord, and his vessels. And there was war between Asa and Baasa, king of Israel, all their days. And Baasa, king of Israel, went up against Judah, and built Ramah, so that no one should go out or come in for Asa, king of Judah. And Asa took all the silver and the gold that was found in the treasures of the house of the Lord, and the treasures of the king's house, and gave them into the hands of his servants. And King Asa sent them out to the son of Ader, the son of Tabarima, son of Azan, king of Syria, who dwelt in Damascus, saying, Make a covenant between me and thee, and between my father and thy father. Lo, I have sent forth to thee gold and silver for gifts. Come, break thy league with Baasa, king of Israel, that he may go up for me. And the son of Ader hearkened to King Asa, and he sent the chiefs of his forces to the cities of Israel. And they smote Ain, Dan, and Abel of the house of Maacah, and all Kinnereth, as far as the whole land of Naphtali. And it came to pass, when Baasa heard it, that he left off building Ramah, and returned to Thirsa. And King Asa charged all Judah without exception, that they take up the stones of Ramah and its timbers with which Baasa was building. And King Asa built with them upon the whole hill of Benjamin, and the watchtower. And the rest of the history of Asa, and all his mighty deeds which he wrought, in the cities which he built, Behold, are not these written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? Nevertheless, in the time of his old age, he was diseased in his feet. And Asa slept with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers in the city of David his father. And Josaphat his son reigns in his stead. And Nabat, son of Jeroboam, reigns over Israel in the 2nd year of Asa, king of Judah. And he reigned 2 years in Israel. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, and walked in the way of his father, and in his sins wherein he caused Israel to sin. And Baasa, son of Achiah, who was over the house of Belaon, son of Achiah, conspired against him, and smote him in Gabbathon of the Philistines. For Nabat and all Israel were besieging Gabbathon. And Baasa slew him in the 3rd year of Asa, son of Asa, king of Judah, and reigned in his stead. And it came to pass, when he reigned, that he smote the whole house of Jeroboam, and left none that breathed of Jeroboam, until he had destroyed him utterly, according to the word of the Lord, which he spoke by his servant Achiah the Selonite. For the sins of Jeroboam, which led Israel into sin, even by his provocation, wherewith he provoked the Lord God of Israel, and the rest of the history of Nabat, and all that he did, behold, are not these written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And there was war between Asa and Baasa, king of Israel, all their days. And in the 3rd year of Asa, king of Judah, Baasa, the son of Achiah, begins to reign over Israel in Thirsa, 24 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, and walked in the way of Jeroboam, the son of Nabat, and in his sins, as he caused Israel to sin. And the word of the Lord came by the hand of Jehu, son of Anani, to Baasa, saying, For as much as I lifted thee up from the earth, and made thee ruler over my people Israel, and thou hast walked in the way of Jeroboam, and hast caused my people Israel to sin, to provoke me with their vanities, behold, I raise up enemies after Baasa, and after his house, and I will make thy house as the home of Jeroboam son of Nabat. Him that dies of Baasa in the city the dog shall devour, and him that dies of his in the field the birds of the sky shall devour. And the rest of the history of Baasa, and all that he did, and his mighty acts, behold, are not these written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Baasa slept with his fathers, and they buried him in Thirsa, and Elah his son reigns in his stead. And the Lord spoke by Jehu, son of Anani, against Baasa, and against his house, even all the evil which he wrought before the Lord, to provoke him to anger by the works of his hands, and being like the house of Jeroboam, and because he smote him. And Elah, son of Baasa, reigned over Israel 2 years in Thirsa. And Zambri, captain of half his cavalry, conspired against him, while he was in Thirsa, drinking himself drunk in the house of Osa, the steward at Thirsa. And Zambri went in, and smote him, and slew him, and reigned in his stead. And it came to pass, when he reigned, when he sat upon his throne, that he smote all the house of Baasa, according to the word which the Lord spoke against the house of Baasa, and to Jehu the prophet, for all the sins of Baasa and Elah his son, as he led Israel astray to sin, to provoke the Lord God of Israel with their vanities, and the rest of the deeds of Elah, which he did, behold, are not these written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Zambri reigned in Thirsa 7 days, and the army of Israel was encamped against Gabbathon of the Philistines. And the people heard in the army, saying, Zambri has conspired and smitten the king. And the people of Israel made Ambri, the captain of the host, king in that day in the camp over Israel. And Ambri went up, and all Israel with him, out of Gabbathon, and they besieged Thirsa. And it came to pass, when Zambri saw that his city was taken, that he goes into the inner chamber of the house of the king, and burnt the king's house over him, and died, because of his sins which he committed, doing that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, so as to walk in the way of Jeroboam, the son of Nabat, and in his sins wherein he caused Israel to sin. And the rest of the history of Zambri, and his conspiracies wherein he conspired, behold, are not these written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? Then the people of Israel divides. Half the people goes after Thamni, the son of Gonath, to make him king, and half the people goes after Ambri. The people that followed Ambri overpowered the people that followed Thamni, son of Gonath. And Thamni died, and Joram his brother at that time, and Ambri reigned after Thamni. In the 31st year of King Asa, Ambri begins to reign over Israel 12 years. He reigned 6 years in Thirsa, and Ambri brought the mount of Cimeron of Semer, the lord of the mountain, for 2 talents of silver. And he built upon the mountain, and they called the name of the mountain on which he built, after the name of Semer, the Lord of the Mount Semeron. And Ambri did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, and wrought wickedly beyond all that were before him. And he walked in all the ways of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, and in his sins wherewith he caused Israel to sin, to provoke the Lord God of Israel by their vanities. And the rest of the acts of Ambri, and all that he did, and all his might, behold, are not these things written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Ambri slept with his fathers, and is buried in Samaria, and Achab his son reigns in his stead. And in the 11th year of Ambri, Joshaphat the son of Asa reigns, being 35 years old in the beginning of his reign, and he reigned 25 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Gazubah, daughter of Seli. And he walked in the way of Asa his father, and turned not from it, even from doing right in the eyes of the Lord. Only they removed not any of the high places. They sacrificed and burnt incense on the high places. Now the engagements which Jehoshaphat made with the king of Israel, and all his mighty deeds which he performed, and the enemies whom he fought against, behold, are not these written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? And the remains of the prostitution which they practiced in the days of Asa his father, he removed out of the land. But there was no king in Syria, but a deputy. And King Jehoshaphat made a ship at Tarsus to go to Sophir for gold. But it went not, for the ship was broken at Gazion-Gabber. Then the king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, I will send forth thy servants and my servants in the ship. But Jehoshaphat would not. And Jehoshaphat slept with his fathers, and is buried with his fathers in the city of David. And Joram his son reigned in his stead. In the 2nd year of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, Achab son of Ambri reigned over Israel in Samaria 22 years. And Achab did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, and did more wickedly than all that were before him. And it was not enough for him to walk in the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, but he took to wife Jezebel, daughter of Jethabaal, king of the Sidonians. And he went and served Baal, and worshipped him. And he set up an altar to Baal in the house of his abominations, which he built in Samaria. And Achab made a grove. And Achab did yet more abominably to provoke the Lord God of Israel, and to sin against his own life, so that he should be destroyed. He did evil above all the kings of Israel that were before him. And in his days Achiel the Bethelite built Jericho. He laid the foundation of it in Abiron, his firstborn, and he set up the doors of it in Segub, his younger son, according to the word of the Lord which he spoke by Joshua the son of Nawi. Psalm 103, 104 in Hebrew. Verses 19 through 35. He appointed the moon for seasons, the sun knows its going down. Thou didst make darkness, and it was night. In it all the wild beasts of the forest will be abroad, even young lions roaring for their prey, and to seek meat for themselves from God. The sun arises, and they shall be gathered together, and shall lie down in their dens. Men shall go forth to his work, and to his labor till evening. How great are thy works, O Lord! In wisdom hast thou wrought them all. The earth is filled with thy creation, so is this great and wide sea. There are things creeping, innumerable, small animals and great. There go the ships, and this dragon whom thou hast made to play in it. All wait upon thee to give them their food in due season. When thou hast given it to them, they will gather it. And when thou hast opened thine hand, they shall all be filled with good. But when thou hast turned away thy face, they shall be troubled. Thou wilt take away their breath, and they shall fail, and return to their dust. Thou shalt send forth thy spirit, and they shall be created, and thou shalt renew the face of the earth. Let the glory of the Lord be forever, and the Lord shall rejoice in his works. Who looks upon the earth and makes it tremble? Who touches the mountains and they smoke? I will sing to the Lord while I live. I will sing praise to my God while I exist. Let my meditation be sweet to him, and I will rejoice in the Lord. Let the sinners fail from off the earth, and transgressors, so that they shall be no more. Bless the Lord, O my soul. Proverbs chapter 22, verses 10 through 13. Cast out a pestilent person from the council, and strife shall go out with him. For when he sits in the council, he dishonors all. The Lord loves holy hearts, and all blameless persons are acceptable with him. A king rules with his lips. But the eyes of the Lord preserve discretion, but the transgressor despises wise words. The sluggard makes excuses and says, There is a lion in the ways, and murderers in the streets. The Holy Gospel according to St. Luke, chapter 22, verses 24 through 46. And there was also a strife among them, which of them should be accounted the greatest. And he said unto them, The kings of the Gentiles exercise lordship over them, and they that exercise authority upon them are called benefactors. But ye shall not be so. But he that is greatest among you, let him be as the younger, and he that is chief as he that doth serve. For whether is greater, he that sitteth at meat, or he that serveth? Is not he that sitteth at meat? But I am among you as he that serveth. Ye are they which have continued with me in my temptations. And I appoint unto you a kingdom, as my Father hath appointed unto me, that ye may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom, and sit on thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel. And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan hath desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. But I have prayed for thee, that thy faith not fail, and when thou art converted, strengthen thy brethren. And he said unto him, Lord, I am ready to go with thee, both into prison and to death. And he said, I tell thee, Peter, the cock shall not crow this day, before that thou shalt thrice deny that thou knowest me. And he said unto them, When I sent you without purse and scrip and shoes, lacked ye anything? And they said, Nothing. He said unto them, But now, he that hath a purse, let him take it, and likewise his scrip. And he that hath no sword, let him sell his garment and buy one. For I say unto you, that this is written must yet be accomplished in me. And he was reckoned among the transgressors, for the things concerning me have an end. And they said, Lord, behold, here are 2 swords. He said unto them, It is enough. He came out, and went as he was wont to the Mount of Olives, and his disciples also followed him. And when he was at the place, he said unto them, Pray that ye enter not into temptation. And he was withdrawn from them about a stone's cast, and kneeled down, and prayed, saying, Father, if thou be willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done. And there appeared an angel unto him from heaven, strengthening him. And being in an agony, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat was as it were great drops of blood falling down to the ground. And when he rose up from prayer, and was come to his disciples, he found them sleeping for sorrow. And he said unto them, Why sleep ye? Rise and pray, lest ye enter into temptation.